Education plays a great role in the life of everyone all through the life. Getting proper education is very necessary to get success, and happy life, just like food, is necessary for a healthy body. It is very important to live a luxurious and better life. It develops personality of the people, provides physical and mental standard, and transforms people's living status. It promotes the feeling of physical, mental and social well-being by providing better life. Good education is constructive in nature, which constructs our future forever. It helps a person to improve his or her status of mind, body and spirit. It provides us lots of confidence by giving us bulk of knowledge in many fields. It is a single and vital way to the success as well as personal growth. I'm Mira Nasir and this is Fourth Estate. IE stands for Islanders Education, the largest private education provider in the Republic of Maldives and the first to open an international school in the capital city of Male. IE is a master franchise of Kangaroo Kids Education Limited in the Maldives. KKEL is an international education franchise with over 200 schools across South Asia and Middle East. Tonight, we meet the Executive Director of this Business Islanders Group, Mr. Adli Rashid.
IE stands for Islanders Education, the largest private education provider in the Republic of Maldives and the first to open an international school in the capital city of Male. IE is the master of franchisee of Kangaroo Kids Education Limited in the Maldives. KKEL is an international education franchise with over 200 schools across South Asia and Middle East. The KKEL curriculum is learner-centric, research-based and continuously improves to offer a superior quality standards to abreast with the newer dimensions in 21st century education. Islanders Education is a part of Islanders Group, a business founded in 1980 by the group's chairman Abdul Rashid. Islanders Group own and operate business activities in tourism, retail, industrial products, education, FMCG and real estate in the Maldives, Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Islanders Education is the founding member of the Foundation for a Better Future, a non-profit, non-partisan foundation established to improve quality of life and access to good education across the country. Islanders is the first to establish an international school in the capital city. Since its entry to the education sector, the company has revolutionized the education outlook and set a new benchmark for quality education. However, due to the widely distributed population across small islands in the Maldives, many children still do not have access to quality education and great education infrastructure across the country. The purpose and goal of the foundation is to offer quality education to rural communities across the country, to offer access to high-quality special education programs to children with special educational needs and learning disabilities, and to promote good values across the country to improve well-being of society. Innovate Education is a movement devoted to spreading powerful ideas and innovative practices in education. Their mission is to develop a community welcoming educators and parents who seek to share their experience in educating children of all ages. Today, Innovate Education held a symposium to create a platform to spread ideas and to work with educators and thinkers who wish to publish their thoughts, research and findings on their website and through social media. At today's symposium, different speakers shared their views on various topics, such as how a teacher can climb up their career ladder, or how a child can understand and loved the religion from the very early ages. Tonight's guest is Mr. Adli Rashid. Adli is an executive director of his family business, Islanders Group. Adli led the successful negotiation with the Ministry of Education to open the country's first international school in 2009, previously closed sector for private education providers. Since then, Islanders Group had opened various new international preschools in the Maldives and recently secured the largest private education project, the development of Amir Ahmad School in the capital city of Maldives.
Welcome to the program Fourth Estate, Mr. Adli.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So first, this Islanders Education. Can you please tell us some more about the introduction of this business?
Well, Islanders Education was founded in 2008, so it's a relatively new company. It's 6 years old now to date, but I believe we have done quite a lot in terms of bringing a new change to education in the Maldives. As you have mentioned earlier in your program, we are the first to introduce an international school to the capital city, Male. We did that in 2009 with the opening of Billabong High International School at the EPS campus. And I think most of the people in Male and as well as in Maldives would know the name Billabong High, and we opened the school with a very popular reception with almost full capacity. So that was our beginning and our foray into education, and since then we have not looked back. We have very rapidly expanded our education operations with every opportunity we got. We opened multiple preschools during the next couple of years, and then once again in 2012 we were very lucky enough to win a bid to open another international school at the Amir Ahmad campus in Hemberu. So that gave us a lot more space, which is one of the most difficult things to find for an educator here in Male, because Male is very congested. So that opportunity provided us to expand our operations further. So we opened our International Kangaroo Kids Preschool. We did have preschools earlier as well, but we opened a much larger facility with greater resources at the Amir Ahmad campus in 2012. At the same time, we also undertook a corporate social responsibility project that was to build, develop and operate the Amir Ahmad Community School in Hemberu. So altogether, from the point we started to the point we are today, we started with 600 students at Billabong High. Today we have around 8 institutions, various programs from kindergarten to grade 12 to higher education to special education to physical education and talent related programs. Altogether we have close to 3,000 students right now with us. So that is a little bit of a history and a profile of Islanders Education.
Well, your first school, Kangaroo School, it was open at a time where private sector in the education field was very rare. So how did this idea of a private school, an international school in the Maldives come from, and was it challenging to open an international school in the Maldives?
I think the idea initially comes from a shift in the policy at the government level. I think the government took a very right decision to decide to bring in an international school, presence of an international school to the Maldives, and we were lucky enough to meet the requirements that the government had in mind at the time. Definitely it was a fairly, I would say, a very big risk because prior to 2008 education in the Maldives was offered free by the government. So to introduce a private school where a fee was charged was not something that the Maldivian population had earlier experienced. So it was indeed a risk that we took, but I think it was a risk worthwhile taking. But I also believe that international education was even at that time was not a unfamiliar concept to Maldivians. I think a lot of Maldivians, even myself, considering we have traveled to Sri Lanka or Malaysia for international education studies, for higher studies or even secondary studies. So the concept of international school was not something new. It was something people were familiar with. So that, I think, provided a great opportunity for parents, especially I think parents of younger children, to be able to get the service of an international school here in Male. Otherwise they would have had to travel abroad. Many times the father or the main breadwinner would stay back in Male, and the mother and the children would move out to Sri Lanka or Malaysia. So an international school's presence here in the Maldives avoided that from happening. So I think our challenges were made easier due to the circumstances that people in Male were living in at the time, and then having access to an international school. So I think it was a lot of things coming together very well, starting from the government policy to do so, and our ability to be able to introduce an international school to the Maldives at that time. So I would say challenge wise, it is definitely a challenge to introduce something new. It takes a bit of time to understand the concept of an international school to some of us. So we do face challenges every day, but we have very successfully been able to overcome most of our challenges and keep on continuously improving over the years.
Well, I think for a development of a specific industry or a society, sharing our knowledge is very important, and hence today you've completed a great symposium on education. How was it, and how did the idea of this symposium come?
Well, the idea for the symposium comes from our need to share the experiences that we have had in education in Male. We have been fortunate enough to have a very unique experience here. As I mentioned earlier, Islanders has been in the education field for the last 6 years in this sector, and we have done a lot of new things. We have learned a lot, and we have a lot to share. So we thought the symposium would be the right forum to do so. And as you have seen during the symposium today, we have introduced a lot of new things that we have done. For example, we have a program called Baby Genius that introduces learning to children who are between 0 to 2. So we were able to prove that children who are only 2 years old have the skill to read through this program. This is typically a milestone set for 4 to 5 years old in mainstream schools. So this is a very new experience again. And at the symposium, we have also done a speech on scholarships that are available for Maldivian students that not many people know about. There are a lot of scholarships out there that are available to Maldivian students that we often don't know. We just know a couple of things that we are used to knowing. So this again provides a lot of great opportunity for our students and also other Maldivian students to apply for these scholarships and go abroad. So these kind of useful information that we knew, we wanted to share with everyone. And we have partnered with the Foundation for a Better Future to organize this symposium for the only reason being that we wanted to do this without any charge or fee to our participants. So it was a free event for everyone who attended.
Well, being an international education provider, you must have some differences with the local curriculum and your curriculum. What are the differences in your curriculum compared to the local curriculum we have here in Maldives?
Well, it's an international curriculum to start with. It was designed by curriculum experts, and it's a curriculum that has been tried and tested for over 2 decades, and it has been continuously revised and reviewed to ensure that the latest learning and research has been integrated into it. We are the only school that offers an international curriculum from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. So that is a very significant difference that our schools have when you compare us with other schools. And our curriculum, as you mentioned at the start of the program, is designed by Kangaroo Kids Education Limited. Kangaroo Kids is an international education franchise. They have their schools in the Asia region as well as the Middle East. So they are a very established franchise, and the type of learning that they promote is also very different. The type of values that they promote is very different. Kangaroo Kids promotes lifelong learning. What that means is that children, the main purpose of our schools are to create lifelong learners who love learning just because they love to do it. We are not trying to make them learn something. If you go to our schools and meet with our students, you will see even with a simple interaction that our students have developed a different kind of a profile. They are students who are very independent, very confident, and they learn because they simply love to learn. And that is a very significant difference. So what that ensures us is that whatever we present to them, they will take their own initiative to learn not only what we teach them, but also they will go back home and study more on it and then come back to us with something even more surprising maybe the next day. So that's the kind of learning environment that we have created and the learning system that we have put in place. And we would like to share this with as many people as possible. So that is our goal here in the Maldives with this curriculum and with this program.
There's still more to come. Please stay tuned with us. We'll be right back after a short break.
Neutro Special Crackers eta bike itibar hoda pave.
Kokkogave.
Varam mir.
Neutro Special Crackers ki packet ga gin adada ka biskode kuleve agiya miru biskode.
Varak kamada biskode.
Binda binda kala Neutro Special Crackers.
Ivoing anakka startup kurani German vilatuge malu ufedumekkamavva Peridot brand ge ekivattaruge sali laminate paake carpet adi fenuge asaru kuratantana hasa vinyl flooring west rajye muling installation mechanism maaku miharu Evo flooring gun liben hunnana tiris first rufiyan peshige akafuute site measurement naga install koddinuge hidume west mi miha rajyen liben hori emme quality aguheo flooring ale saliyen nunta
Snickers. It's got nuts, chocolate, and caramel to fill that hunger on the go. Grab it, rip it, chew it, yeah. Hungry? Grab a Snickers.
Now grab a fantastic new pack of 5s for just ₹50.
Higgam do hedda. Coffee bola. Sali gadiyan. Kike bonani.
Do.
Fini coffee enna wala tangalu dis. Mabune chengono do.
Ice coffee enno.
ಅವಸ್ಕಮಕ್ ಫಿನಿಕೊದ್ದೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕರದು ಕೂಡ ನಿಕಾಯಿ ಬ್ರೇನ್ ಎಸಿಗೆ ಫಿನಿಕಮ ಮೊಳಕ ತಜ್ರಿಬಾ ಕೊಲ್ಲಮ ಎಹಾ ಫಿನಿ ಎಹಾ
ಹುನ್ ಕೊ ಫಿನ್ ದಿಬ್ಲಾತ
Welcome back. Now we're in conversation with Mr. Adil Rashid, the Executive Director of Islanders Group. Welcome back. We have seen so many developments in the global world with technology, and as Maldives is a developing country, we may be a bit late compared to the developed countries in bringing these changes. But how would you describe the technology for our students in the schools? Is it beneficial for them?
Well, as you rightly said, technology is definitely a global discussion when it comes to the education sector, perhaps more now than ever before. The simple reason being technology has really integrated to our lives right now. Each and every one of us have a mobile phone in our pockets, or kids, or a lot of our kids have iPads that they carry at their home. They are attached or glued to these devices from the time they wake up till the time they sleep. So this does have an impact on learning, and over the last couple of years, the way that people access information through these devices have also changed very rapidly for the better. Right now, if we want to learn about something, we can simply pick these devices up from our pockets, or from an iPad, or from a computer, and read about any topic that we want on Wikipedia, or using any of the apps that are out there. So this was not available, let's say for example when I was in school. I would have to stick to a textbook that I have, or if I wanted additional information, I'd have to go to a library. But today's children are learning in a very different, almost very technologically superior environment that we would not have personally imagined at that time when we were in school. So the type of learning that is taking place, self-initiated learning that children could have access to and could initiate, the opportunity is there for them. So it brings, it comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of questions, important questions that schools need to answer and schools need to accept and embrace. There is no way out of it. It is definitely coming towards us. So schools will be required to integrate technology more and more into classrooms. Teachers who have been teaching in the traditional methods will have to embrace new technology and learn a new craft altogether. But globally, we are still used to getting assessed when we sit for an exam. So the exams are also still written, but I don't know when was the last time I remembered writing a full page letter or something. We all use the computer now. So there is a lot of challenges going on in terms of technology and education. It is certainly a debate as well. We are yet to see it taking shape, but we also have to embrace it right now in a very responsible manner that does not impact the assessment of students. They should still be able to write. The important skills should still be there, and they should be able to pass their exams on a written test paper. But still, technology, I think, is a great enhancer and enabler for teachers to enhance and amplify their teaching skills while inside the classroom. So Billabong High is doing this as well. We have a movement called TechSmart, where we are putting iPads in the hands of teachers and giving the access to all the great apps that are on the App Store, at the Apple App Store. And we are also a Google Education certified school. So we have access to all their apps, including Google Classroom, which enables teachers to do a lot of collaborative activities with students. For example, when you use Google Classroom, you can assign assignments, you can do questionnaires, you can do surveys with the students real time. While they are at home, they can submit their assignments, and the teacher could even mark it or comment on it right away. So these kind of enablers and enhancing methods and apps out there really help the teachers once you embrace it. But it is also a challenge for teachers to start embracing these technologies, because they are not used to these things as well. So it is a culminative thing where we need to really decide what we want to do and then go ahead with it.
Well, talking about technology and education, as I have seen some parents think that technology, iPads, social networks, or using this technology in a classroom might be a negative influence on their child. What would you like to say to those parents about this?
Yes, there is a lot of research on this area as well. I just recently read a report submitted by OECD as well, which actually says that technology does not help children in terms of learning in traditional school systems. As I said earlier, it needs to come together still. It's still in the, I would say, in a formative stage right now. As I said, assessment is still being conducted in the traditional format, while technology is, I think, going in a totally different direction. But I think these two will come together at some point in time, and there will be a positive impact if you embrace it positively, and if everything comes together, there will be a positive impact on learning. That's what we believe at Billabong High as well. But yes, certainly there is the question of responsible use of technology. It is a very wide open platform, so there is a lot of negative things that can go on as well, but you'll have to choose the right places to go, the right avenues to access your information. And technology does also present to some extent a threat if it is not supervised, especially technology in the hands of children. So parents also is required to become more and more aware about the negative aspects of giving total freedom to children when it comes to their access to technology, especially through an iPad or a mobile phone. But then again, there are also a lot of parent controls built into these devices. So it is important for today's parents to really be aware of these things, and then make use of these parental controls in order to ensure that you are using technology responsibly.
Well, Islanders Education being a private firm in this very important industry of the country, what are the barriers or the challenges you have in giving your service to the people?
We see all challenges as something that we have to very actively work and overcome, and we welcome challenges that are there. When you are doing something for the first time, there are of course a lot of challenges ahead. One of the biggest challenges is when it comes to an international school, to get access to great teachers who have had an international experience. Our objective is not to have too many foreign teachers. We also need to focus on our own local teachers. So one of the challenges is that international education being a relatively new concept or new venture in the Maldives, most of the teachers are still trained not for international schools but for public schools. So that is definitely a challenge that we have to overcome, and that's a challenge that we are overcoming as well. What we have done to do this is that we have set up our own teacher training institute called Islanders Institute of Higher Education. This has been functional for the last 2 years, and we have been licensed to conduct some very good international teacher training courses. For example, the certificate for international certificate for teacher trainers by Cambridge. So what we do is we offer in-house training for our teachers while they are on the job, and this is how it's a long-term process, and this is how we plan to do it, to provide in-house training, in-house professional development for our local teachers. And at the same time, we also do bring a lot of foreign teachers from other countries. Billabong has the highest number of foreign teachers in any school in Malé. This does give some benefits to our local teachers as well. Their interaction with international teachers who have been in international schools give them, there's a lot of information that gets passed on to them through their experiences outside of the country. So that does also enhance the skill of local teachers. But our main goal and challenge is to make an international school with all Maldivian teachers. That is our objective.
Being in service for the past 6 years, you must have some success stories. What would you like to share to us?
Well, we have been very successful, I would say, and fortunate as well. As I said, we started with 600 students, and we are right now close to about 3,000 students. So that is a huge leap when you consider a 6-year tenure in education. And we are grateful to the government for allowing us to do this. We are grateful to our parents for supporting us and being with us up until today, and we hope they'll also be with us in the many years ahead as long as we keep doing a good job. And we are continuously challenging ourselves, coming up with new programs, enhancing the existing programs that we have. And we have created fairly successful programs over the years as well. One of the, I would quote 3 success stories. One is our shift from all our multiple preschools to the main Kangaroo Kids campus that we have in Hemberu Amir Ahmed right now. That facility is unlike any other facility. I've actually traveled to nearby preschools in Sri Lanka and even in India. Personally, it would be biased for me to say this as well, but from a very objective point of view, I think the facility is comparatively very good compared to other schools even in the nearby region. We have a great facility built in terms of the grounds that we have. We have a customized play unit that caters to specific motor skills of children in the early years at the Dream Campus Kangaroo Kids. We have a sensory room inside the preschool, which is not something that is typical of preschools, even in international preschools. And we have very spacious classrooms. We have a great reading program conducted by international teachers. We have a tree house there, so it's a very great environment for preschoolers to come and learn. Secondly, I would also say one of our successes is this corporate social responsibility project that we undertook at Amir Ahmed. We were able to take a community school, build a new space, a new building, entirely new building for them, and then offer education at that school at a standard that that is not common to other community preschools. With our input, we were able to enhance their curriculum. We were able to enhance their facility. So that is by itself a very successful story in terms of privatization. And thirdly, I would also quote our success in our Baby Genius program. This is a program for 0 to 2. We started with just one pilot class 2 years back. Right now we have 3 classes, and all the 3 classes are full. And what we were able to do is truly remarkable. In this program, we were able to teach children of 2 years old to read. So that is, I think, a fairly big deal. And these children will grow with a much enhanced or advanced learning or control over their language when they go to preschools. So that is a third success story, I would say as well.
Well, at a very early stage, you have achieved so much, and I think there is still more to come. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Well, this concludes our show, but here's a quick look on tonight's topic.
Madrasatul Sania was the first registered school in Maldives. Today it is known as Majidiyah School. Celebrating almost a century after its inauguration, we have seen many changes in the education system of the Maldives. The traditional system of the education that has evolved for centuries composed of 3 types of institution: Kiawage, Maktab and Madarsa. Madarsa usually expanded the curriculum to include more subjects such as literacy skills. This system deserves credit for the high 93% in 1986 literacy rate of the Maldives. Most of the maktabs teach the young to read and write Divehi and Arabic as well as simple arithmetic. Continuous research in upgrading the curriculum goes on. A new national curriculum for primary and middle schools was designed and introduced in 1984. This curriculum incorporates environmental studies, science, Divehi language, mathematics, English language, fine arts, physical education, and calligraphy. A number of English medium schools prepare all their students as London GCE O-level candidates. The Centre for Higher Secondary Education, a government-based educational centre, readies students to sit for the London GCE A-level examinations, maintaining an affiliation to reputed external examination system at secondary level. The government has most appropriately innovated and introduced a fisheries science program into secondary school, the subject having been offered at GCE O-level since 1987. As it is common in other developing nations, students must travel abroad for higher education in college or university. In their continuing efforts to upgrade the educational standards, the Maldives government maintains education as a priority. Lately, the education system for the private sector was opened, and therefore, for the first time, international and private schools in Maldives was opened. Today, the current government is working towards a new national curriculum. Though we still do not have our own examination, and though we rely to UK exams, people hope for a time when we could stand on our own feet. This new curriculum is the footsteps for it. Until so far, the key stage of the new curriculum has been launched.
Well, that's all for tonight's show. This is me, Maranatha, signing off, hoping to return next week, yet another issue of financial and social importance. Thanks for watching. Good night.